Oh.
Well, the people at home can hear you now. So,
Fantastic.
but can they hear me? Probably not. Boom. I'm hoping you can hear me. My little mixer's going. Anyway, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. Hello, lots of people in the chat. Yeah, Dalefin's back. He is back. Welcome back, AJ. Can't wait to see what he gets up to this week. So, welcome to the channel. We play lots of tabletop. We are currently going to play Dungeons and Dragons 5e because it's the best one out there, if I do say so myself. But we do like playing lots of other stuff. We really enjoy our Carbon 2185 game, Pathfinder 2nd Ed. We've done Vampire the Masquerade. We even had a crack at Iron Kingdoms, which, damn, has an experience, but a good game. So yeah, hello, Esmeros. I think is that from you, Mr. Sean? Yeah, Esmer's come across before, hasn't she? Yeah. Right, so I'll move on and stop staring at chat. So, social media. If you want to follow us on social media, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got Instagram. Type in Heavyweight Gaming and you'll find us. And we're posting like when we go live streaming, what stupid things we're getting up to, our little charity streams we've got planned, and yeah, stuff like that. You also get every now and then a live show from me and one of my boys because we're bored and we need to speak to people in the world. What do we do after that? Oh, if you want to support the channel, I usually have notes in front of me and I still fuck them up. So if you want to support the channel, you can use your Twitch Prime, which means if you're an Amazon Prime member, you will get a free subscription to use once a month on a content creator of your choice.
It's gravy time.
Dwarf Warrior is back in action. Sweet Jesus. You're working tonight, lad. So thank you for the next 5 subs that come in. Yeah, so you can use your Twitch Prime.
It's gravy time.
It doesn't cost you anything. You can give it to any content creator you wish. So if you don't want to give it to us, that's great. But please try and use it if you can remember. It's cool, and all the content creators benefit from it. And it comes out of Amazon's
It's gravy
pocket,
time.
Yours. You can use your own Twitch, which again is appreciated. You can go to our Patreon channel. Ashana is one of our sponsors of tonight's show. So yes, I'll get
It's
to that
gravy time.
There's a lot of gravy time. I'm just going to enjoy it for a moment. And then what was I getting to? Patreon. If you go to Patreon, you'll put in Heavyweight Gaming. You'll see our Patreon page, and you can throw a few quid at us, and you get
It's gravy time.
lovely 5th edition e-magazine called Arcane Script, which is all the lore and subclasses and everything we could possibly come up with homebrew for the world we play in, which you'll get to see some of if you watch our shows on a Tuesday and a Saturday. We play in our homebrew world of Colossus. So, sponsors, blah, 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 blah. Right, so on the sponsors, we have Ruffworx Creative, who are an incredible leatherworking and woodworking small business. If you go to Facebook and put in Ruffworx Creative, just look at the photo albums and you'll see just incredible stuff. I have known Nick of Ruffworx for over a decade, ridiculous. But the man is incredibly talented and more people need to see his stuff. He's currently got a bit of a passion for dice trays and he's been making them. He did some for our 24-hour sessions last year and they are just beautiful. Again, go to his photo albums. You can find him on Twitter, etc. At Ruffworx Creative. Just check out his stuff, it's incredible. So it's always an honour to be sponsored by Ruffworx Creative. And Ashana, who is lurking around in the chat, is a very, very talented glass crafter, among other things, but I personally like her glass crafting. So you can check her out on Tuesdays and Fridays doing glass work. She can either correct me in the chat or you can go check her out and see her schedule. But she's a very, very talented glass crafter. She's also going away this weekend, I think, to do a full weekend of D&D across a lake on a small island in a cabin, and they're going to play D&D locked away from the world, which is amazing. But yeah, and yeah, so we're looking at getting some small little glass figurines sent over as giveaways as little dice protectors, and they're little draconic glass figurines, and they're cool as fudge. I love them. So yeah, so there are 2 sponsors of the show. We also special shout out to Bardic Inspiration. If you go to bardicinspiration.co.uk, did I get that right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
You can go check out all their geeky stuff that they supply: dice, candles, dice bags. They do mystery bags, and they've got a subscription service now where you get like 30 quid's worth of kit for 20 quid ish, and you get loads of stuff coming in through that. Shout out to Sawdust Swearwords, who again woodworking. Go check them out on Facebook. Incredible woodworkers. They sponsor some of our other shows. Really good, and they've got a dice tray up for grabs on the charity thing. I'll get to in a minute. I will get through all this as quick as I can, kids. And I've missed people: Thornless Rose, Becky Appleyard, Kelly, who does our artwork. There's a list. There's loads. You'll see it at the break. Right. So at the end of this month, 28th to the 30th of August. 48 hours of gaming is what we're going to do. Loads of tabletops. It'll be D&D, Pathfinder, Carbon, Vampire the Masquerade, Call of Cthulhu, Gamma Worlds, a 5e urban setting, an alien RPG, a spaceship simulator which we trial ran last Friday, and then lots of stuff in between like World of Warcraft, Apex, Fortnite, Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft. My youngun's trying to get us to play Grounded, which is an incredible game. If you haven't played Grounded, go play it. It is amazing. You remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and the kids are running through the garden? It's like that, and it's a survival game, and you build houses, and you kill ants, and you get a little ant armour. Oh, it's fucking amazing. It's amazing. Just go play Grounded. So that might just be 48 hours of Grounded, is what I'm saying. So yeah, so there's going to be all that. So you will see, let me have a little... where's my picture? It's not on here. Shit. So you'll see at the break, the three charities we're doing it for are Mind, which is a mental health charity, Rainbow Trust, which is for poorly kids, and Mermaids, which is a pride charity. I know that's not a great description of all three, but if you go on Google and put in one of those charities, Mind, Rainbow Trust, Mermaids, you'll get a lot of information of why they do it, who they're doing it for, what they do with their donations and such, and you can spend an evening falling in love with those charities. If you wish to donate, you will see it pop up in the chat. Go to justgiving.com/team/heavy48 is our page, and pick the relevant people to the relevant charity. So you'll see on there that they're linked. So there's me, Kelly and Rob, and we each have a charity next to our name. Pick one of us to the charity you want to go to, boom, you get to donate. If you use the donation button below the stream, it goes into the Twitch account, which I will then manually move. So if you do donate using the button below the stream, please put on there that this is for charity Mind or Mermaids or Rainbow Trust, and I know who to and where to share it out. We have a dice tray from Sawdust Swearwords. I will get a picture up on this particular overlay because it's on the others at the minute, which is up for grabs. It is stunning. It's £2 per wanting your name in the hat. So if you want 10 goes, it'll cost you 20 quid. If you want 5 goes, it'll cost you 10 quid, etc, etc. If you do donate and you're donating for a chance at winning the dice tray, please make sure that you put on your donation, this is for the tray or the word tray or anything that notes, anything that alerts me that that is what you're donating for. If you donate anonymously, just assume it's another donation. If you don't put anything in the notes, I'll just assume it's another donation. So make sure that you do it correctly, and then you'll get a chance at winning an incredible dice tray, which I'll put up at the break. So, whew. And we use Syrinscape for all our backing ground music, which you will have to let me know. Oh, bits, someone's donated bits. Well done, Dwarf Warrior, to let me know what's cracking on. So, ambient music in the background is by Syrinscape. Thank you to our moderator, Mel. It will go loud and quiet throughout because it's on a same mixer and I have to monitor it. So please let me know in chat if it goes too quiet, too loud, etc. and I will try and adjust. On the bits thing, evening Ruffworx. There you go. We've just shouted out about Ruffworx. On the bits thing, if you donate 200 bits to this particular show tonight, the party will get a single reroll. They can only hold 5 rerolls at any one time. They can't use them on me, and they must use them this session. Team, you currently have 2 rerolls from Dwarf Warrior. So thank you very much, Dwarf Warrior. Right, we've got 20 people sat in chat. Let's have a recap. So, and Sean is joined us last week, and now we've got him forever. So, last week we had the diplomatic meeting between Old Oak and Lord Romerick. You've got another team reroll. Thank you very much, Ruffworx. You enjoyed a display of the world's greatest diplomatic skill you've ever seen. I mean, it was legendary. And essentially, Old Oak was like, look, there's going to be a fight, deal with it. Pick a side, or don't. I can't be bothered convincing you otherwise, and left. Lord Romerick essentially said, actually, something I didn't think about, Civil War, thanks for pointing that out, Mr. Satire. I'll keep that in mind. And they went about their separate ways. Sapphire turned up, a 6'7" tabaxi lion of white fur braided mane from lands not of Vey but lives in Vey. And introduced himself as, I'm just a creepy lion that's looking at your elven friend. By the way, I'm fast as fuck. They then all went to sleep, just before which Delphine had a bit of a moment, which we'll get to you, Delphine, and was having one of his echo seizures, is probably the best term for it. They all had a sleep. They were woke up in the morning by alarm bells. They all went rocking out into the front garden to see a gargantuan sapphire dragon obliterating the town of Malron. Upon the back of the dragon there was a humanoid that they couldn't get any detail of. The breath of the sapphire dragon was exactly that. It was shards of sapphire coming through a glittery blue cloud and shattering through the town and people. Accompanying alongside it were a load of wyverns of a similar blue sapphire scaled colour, and they were attacking various places in Malron, including the party. Now, whilst the party managed to fight a couple off, they noticed a few things going on. One, the Death Knight, known as Ulrich, on the back of an enormous black beasted with tinges of blue feathering Pegasus, went into the gargantuan dragon. Not alone, there was a crapload of town defences going up at the dragon. They had a bit of a fight in the skies. They noticed that down by the Wandering Leaf, the ship of Vey, the personal ship of Lady Akiku, there was a coffin, incredibly well, essentially made from a shitload of druid craft cantrips, to make this beautiful summer-esque coffin. Who is in that they do not know, but beside it, chained up, was the dark elf Gabriel, and the wyverns were also attacking that. So that all happened. When they managed to fend off those immediately in front of yourselves, you then had two of you, Kess and Xandria, boarded the Black Wing, which is the personal ship of Lord Romerick of the House of Falcons, whilst Ari and Sapphire ran back to the Blue Cask to retrieve Delphine. Now, Delphine was still in a bad state, but Ari managed to drag his ass out the tavern, while Sapphire, quite literally, yeah, while Sapphire kind of went one-on-one with a wyvern just to give enough time for Ari. Ari come flying out the door with Delphine and requested help. Sapphire and Ari then started to attempt to move Delphine, at which point the wyvern decided to drop Ari. And now Sapphire was left with two of them, and then decided to drop Sapphire. And then it was all going really bad. Before them two got dropped though, a small boy with scruffy hair, holding a dagger that was a gift to him long ago, was a child called Geddon, who took the stinger of the wyvern to the chest. The child fell to the ground. They left it. They left the child.
We're unconscious.
You knew we were down before you went unconscious. So, and then the wyvern got engaged with some knights of the Hooded Wolf. Delphine managed to, for a very brief moment, break through the seizure that he was having and apply a potion to Ari, and then almost pass out again. So Ari was then able to use more potions to get Sapphire up. Whilst the wyvern was distracted, you all made your way, well, you three made your way down to the Black Wing and boarded the ship with Kesfion and Xandria. As the ship was leaving, you got to see that the gargantuan sapphire dragon, fighting Ulrich and whatever defences were being thrown at it, the gargantuan dragon exploded into this blue glittered dust that then started coating the town as a humanoid fell, unconscious, seemed to be limp in the air, falling down, while the humanoid that was sat on the dragon was fully able, flew or skydived down towards the falling person, turned into a giant bird and carried them away northeast. Ulrich did not pursue, instead landed back in the town. And we left you sailing away down the estuary. The Wandering Leaf far off to your right the Orcan whale slowly limping out of the harbour as well, as you all make your way down the estuary westward to the open seas that lay west of Ravenholm.
What could possibly go wrong?
Everything.
So, we will start with Dalefin.
Hi.
Dalefin.
I feel I've missed some things.
Well,
I just need to find my ship. Right, so, Dalefin, what actually happened while you were in the tavern is you spent... So, whilst your body was struggling to maintain this plane of existence, hence the shimmering and echoing of yourself, almost like the ring girl on speed, you, in your mind, you were wandering a glade of cherry blossoms. This is nothing new to you, as it is part of your clan choosing when you are of an age ready. No specific age, just when you are ready, you are sent for your trials, as it were, and one of the blossoms will choose you, and therefore the path. Yeah. So you recognise the blossom trees, but what is strange is how peaceful it is. It's supernaturally peaceful. You can sense that a mile away that it is not the cherry blossom that you glade that you walk through. That it clearly is a almost pocket dimension. It's probably the closest your wizarding mind can compare it to. And as you're walking around the cherry blossom glade, you notice that as some of the blossoms, as they're falling from the trees, as they cross, they almost form a snapshot image of maybe, I say a snapshot, it's about half a second to a second of something. And then the more and more you see of them, you see yourself on the bed in a blue cask, shaking, absolutely drenched with sweat. You see another one, you see yourself stood really high up in like a mountain or a cliff or something really high, just looking down on a land you don't recognise, with your shadow katana in hand. It's very, picture perfect scene if someone was to look up. In that particular scene, your hair is long again, but free. It's not tied. It's just flowing. Again, if someone could paint it, you'd probably make a few quid off it. So fans, we'll have some fan art. But the one that pulls out to you the most is you are holding a baby in your arms, and you're just shushing it. You've got a big smile on your face, and then you notice as you look out of a window, these are all, imagine a collage that you managed to, because of your wizarding training, you pick out all these fractures and just piece them in little places around your mind's eye. And you notice that just looking out the window into a garden with a very, very small cherry blossom tree only just growing, you see 3, 4, maybe 5 children just running around in this big garden. Whether they're your children or a close friends or siblings or anything like that, you don't know, but that's just one of the scenes. And the final scene that you manage to pick out is you are underwater, gasping for wanting to just let go of the breath you're holding, but you refuse to. And you see Kesvion swim past, Aquaman style. I mean, he's booking. And the next thing you notice, you're reaching for Ari's, everything becomes real, you're reaching for Ari's rucksack, you're pulling back the flap, undoing the knot, you reach into the backpack, find the vial of healing potion, and you're pouring it down Ari's throat. You remember saying the word leave to Ari, and then you're out again. You're in a bit of a dazed state on the ship, so you are aware that you are on a boat and it is moving away. But you're still like, I want to sit the fudge down. But you're still in a almost passed out state, but enough to just bear. I mean, this is pure training keeping you up now.
Right. Okay.
Any mortal man would have died long ago. Any human. So yeah. So you lot are on a boat. This is a very large ship called the Black Wing. It is the personal ship of Lord Romerick, the one of the stewards of Ravenholm. The House of Falcons rule, or at least administrate, the country in the absence of a monarch. So yeah, plenty of people around. There is a lot of Goliaths and dwarfs on here, as well as many humans. The ship is a good twice the size of the Orcan Whale. This thing is a proper, almost royal-esque ship. You'd expect something, if this is the right hand to the monarch, then there's no surprise that why this ship is so big. So you're kind of all on deck. People are ignoring you for now as they're rushing around, trying to ignore what's going on in Malran, as this blue cloud is just hovering like a mist throughout. Time passes, or feels like it passes slowly, as you are going further and further down this estuary. You can no longer hear the screaming and chaos of Malran. You just hear the creaking of wood, the waves against the ship, and seabirds in the sky, essentially, as you are slowly heading west. You can see the Wandering Leaf, and you can see the Orcan Whale, and a lot more other ships that essentially just dived on and started sailing, some very small, some fishing ships, some probably shouldn't be attempting as they're rowing along. But yeah. What do you do? 3, 2, 1, go.
Now that everyone's kind of, because we kind of briefly had kind of taken sort of a second to be like, okay, everybody's still got all their limbs still attached, etc. at the end of the last session, hadn't we?
Yeah.
So I think after that it will just be try and see where the captain ran off to. And if they can't see the captain, then the Soulforged, whose name I can definitely remember. But it's been a busy, frantic day. So that's not stuck in Kess's head.
Before I get it wrong, I'm just going to look it up.
Not even the DM remembers the Soulforged names.
Garina is the Soulforged.
Can you start with a G? I was like, it's G somewhere.
And the captain introduced herself as Rodina. You had to pick those two, didn't you? Garina and Rodina.
Rodina. What a pair.
They're the two people that have made direct eye contact. What would you want from me?
So,
Rodina is the captain.
Yep.
And we've got Garina.
So I think at the end of the last session, someone had come over, the dwarf guy had come over to heal Sapphire. The Sapphire is literally just spread eagled on the deck, looking up at the sky. Ow.
Yeah, the dwarf.
Yeah, Torek came over to heal them.
Torek. Grumblecoat.
Oh, like as he's healing me, I'll kind of slap him on the shoulder, go, thank you. That's so much better. Oh.
No worries, lad. Anyone else?
Please.
I'll be fine.
Comes over. They put their hand on your shoulder, and you feel that warm, divine light running through you. And you get. Nice. You get 15 points of healing.
Ooh, thank you.
Guess it's not too bad. He's surprisingly didn't actually get smacked around quite as much as usual. So
A shock.
literally to everyone involved. Not least of all him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably just see if I can spot where Captain Rodina, Garina, or even Lord Romerick is, seeing as I've kind of just
Well, Lord
Jumped
Romerick,
on
on his taxi.
Lord Romerick is up on the highest deck where the wheel is with the Captain Rodina. Garina is stood towards the front of the ship, looking out where they're going.
Yeah.
They're just stood there, staring out.
I think he'll kind of like have a quick glance around the group, kind of just see that, okay, everybody's like breathing, Delphin's probably disassociating, but that's the day ends in Y, it'll be fine. And hop up to sort of the top deck to find out where they're going. And to thank them for letting them out of Dodge.
That was the same as what Xandru was going to do.
By all means, you're much better at the words.
Oh,
than-
great.
So,
Wow.
please.
Yeah. I was also going to light my my smoking pipe because I think after all that, yes, that is needed. So, smoking pipe, and then up to at least Lord Romerick to thank him for letting us hop his ship, and then ask where exactly are we driving to
So
or
as
sailing to?
Kess and Xandria start heading up towards the that deck, Sapphire, are you just chilling out on deck, on current main deck?
I mean, yeah, he's got an eye on Daelathan, but he was going to also ask the dwarf where we're going. But I'm happy to wait and hear that from elsewhere.
I have
Just,
no
yeah.
idea, lad. But I'll have a look. I'll have an ask.
Okay.
Thank you. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not ungrateful for the ship being there when we needed it. I literally got here today, last night, very late last night. It doesn't. Yeah, and now we're going somewhere.
Torek just walks away. Delphin, you're pretty much laid out next to Sapphire. Just
Yeah.
not next to Sapphire, you're just on the deck. Ari, what are you doing?
Probably
After we
gonna
try.
free action to cry, right?
Yep.
Probably just gonna check in with Delphin and make sure like he's okay.
Give me a medicine
Um,
check.
Oh boy.
Where have we noticed to talk at the moment?
Oh, what's my new thingy? Oh, new things. 7.
7.
You think
Oh,
7?
I'm frightened.
That's Delphin.
You lean over to check Delphin to see if anything's wrong. Sapphire looks back at you and be like, the other one. So Xandria and Kess, you walk up on the deck. No one stops you. No one seems to care. You're on the deck. They're like, you're on the ship. They're like, whatever. And as you're heading towards Captain Rodina and Lord Romerick, they just turn. Rodina's like, hello, are you okay? Is everything okay? As soon as you've come up to top deck. Is there anything you need?
No, not at the moment. We just wish to thank you for allowing us onto your vessel, and also to ask where it is that you are sailing to.
Well, I'm just discussing that now with Lord Romerick, and she gives a nod. Yes, my initial thoughts were to head straight back to the City of Ravens, back to the capital, but we would have to go through the House of Tor's waters. Whereas, if we head north, we will be going through the House of the Red Lady's waters. What I do know is we will be able to get through the estuary out onto the open sea, but from there, I was asking Rodina if there was a longer way around, so we did not entertain the ships of the House of Tor, as I am fairly sure message will get to them sharpish. Not that that should be a problem, but after your diplomatic friend's words, civil war as an idea is scaring me somewhat, and it has been a long time since true fear has taken hold of my heart.
I understand that you are fearful for a civil war, Lord Romerick, but fear can be a great strength if you know how to wield it correctly.
I am aware. Or at least I have read a lot and well versed in such strategies, although never experienced them myself. I will take your word for now. Unless you have a suggestion of where to go. I will need to head back to the City of Ravens, so that is my priority. But the route is somewhat of a pickle at the moment.
I do not know your lands, and therefore I do not know a quick or safe passage back to where you need to be. But perhaps it might be wise to speak to Ari. He seems to know the seas. He might be able to suggest something that we cannot.
Hey, remember that time you told us you were a pirate, dumb bitch? Yeah. Maybe we'll get two sessions in a row where we make Ari have some...
Who is Ari?
And I kind of look towards the deck below, and I point out Ari and go, "That one is Ari."
I mean no offence by this. I'm a little bit surprised you travel with one a native of Ravenholm.
It wasn't by choice.
And there it is.
This at this point, Kess will kind of like pipe up. He has been a great guide to us, as I'm sure you're aware. We're not in our natural habitat at all here, so it's been good to see compassion and a welcoming side to your people as well.
Oh, not a problem. As Rodina steps forward, Lord Romerick, you go sort yourself out. Always, you've got things to think about. I'll deal with our guests. Yes, Captain. Thank you. I will take that advice. If you wish anything, I will be in my quarters below deck. They are next to Captain Rodina's. And he gives a little nod to you both and takes his leave, unless you stop him. Go. So you're left with Rodina and a few other crew around the place. So that didn't go very well, did it? I'm glad I wasn't on deck. Dock, port, pier. I'll get it right one day. Who is Harry? I'm sure I've seen him before. And she's sort of leaning over the rails, looking down at Harry.
Yes, you probably know him. He has a notorious way of sleeping around.
She looks at you. That's not what I meant, but fair enough.
I have a feeling I know what you're speaking of, but that is not my story to tell.
That's alright. Okay, I'll ask him myself. Yeah, if we go through the waters, see, Romerick favours just heading straight to the City of Ravens, and I don't blame him, because he wishes to get home, and we've got people to look after and work out, and that's his job. But going through Tor, they're very strong. The vessel is well equipped. We can do battle upon the seas. But the House of Tor, normally if we're at naval combat, there's a fleet at least, or a lot of ships, or we're all working together. I really hope we don't have to conflict with the House of Tor. If you ever get to go to Ebendorf, you'll see they're just...
We've been.
Oh, you've been? Yeah, I'm not a fan. But they are of Ravenholm.
You get an understanding nod.
I don't suppose you know where they're going. And she points across, just across the waters to the Wandering Leaf.
Hopefully back to where they belong, but probably not.
So that means they'll probably head north. They'd have to go... maybe they could... I wonder where the dwarves are going. And then she looks across the other way to the Oaken Whale.
last port we saw them in was Ebendorf, so it couldn't begin to guess.
We
They
could
seem
probably
to-
do with finding out, maybe. I don't know, it's up to you, but numbers always makes better. Like,
Travel in a group.
exactly. We're just escort at the moment. We're not even fully stacked. We've got a few of the lads and lasses rocking out, but we haven't got a fully stacked ship. Didn't really expect to be going against their own. Not that we are, but the way Lord Romeric's talking. Civil War in Ravenholm. She looks quite young for a captain. You're not shocked that her historical knowledge is not coming out in any of her speech.
We still have unfinished business within Ravenholm, so we do need to find a way to land and at least allow you and the ship to sail elsewhere, but we have stuff that we need to take care of.
Well, where are you heading? Because that might determine where we can go to drop you off. Or at least drop you somewhere that you could get there easier. Assuming it don't take us into the, jaws of death.
We simply need to be preferably close to a forest.
He looks at you in a trying to work out if you're being sarcastic comment. That's anywhere. We can drop you. I could give you a rowboat now if you want. She's not been sarcastic or anything. She's been genuine.
I think it would be wise for us to at least get further away from Malrun.
You do see coming towards you in the distance, or at least you're approaching it rather than it's coming at you. The guard tower that you saw when you went west initially, when you came out of the forest, and you saw Ulrich and such. That is ahead of you on the left-hand side as you are coming out there. Approaching the middle of the estuary.
I apologise. We are not often travelling aboard vessels such as this. How would you usually converse between ships?
I would just send a message. Arcane, of course. We can send messages. We can send small birds. Some of us can. Some of my lot are pretty dab hand at changing into creatures. Mainly sea creatures. If you changed it into a bear, we'd probably laugh at them. But yeah, there's a lot of magic around Ravenholm. Never been skilled in it myself, but we got a few on board that are dab hand.
We have encountered both crews of these vessels before, and as you said, it could possibly, even at least while we get back out into open water, be good to stick closer together. We could try and reach out if you think that would be the best.
Well, it's just common sense. Like, if the dwarves are heading south, it'd be good to go along with them. If the elves are heading north, obviously that'd be a decision. But if both were heading south or both heading north, it'd be a long trek for myself. But to be fair, I think if we went north, we'd end up hitting too much of the mainland. It'd take months to get back. Well, there you see my point. Just to see what they're doing, what they're planning. Just so we can better assess the situation, really.
We will find out what we can. You have helped us in a great way. We will try and return that in kind.
Well, we don't want people getting eaten by a dragon. I mean, did you... Well, I suppose not, but, I mean, what was it?
Not a dragon.
Alright, I suppose I'll have to do for now. Although I'm pretty sure that'll spread through Ravenholm like wildfire.
Smoke and mirrors.
We will
Okay.
see what we can find out for you, Captain.
Lovely. I'll get one of my lot to work on contacting them. If I find out, I'll let you know. Unless you have specific things you want to find out, and I'll see if they can throw it their way.
If you are to send a message to, and I point to the Veil ship, I point to the Wandering Leaf. If you are to send a message to the Wandering Leaf, you need to speak to Captain Sataru, or perhaps his first mate.
Thank
I'll
you.
be able to give you an answer.
Lovely, thank you. She sort of tips her tricon.
Hess has done a week's worth of talking to people, so he is going to be.
He's just like gone.
So you head back down to deck. Dalefin, before Kess and Zandria come back, because they're obviously holding conversation, you manage to sit yourself up, and other than being very, very drained and in need of probably a sugar boost, you are conscious and aware of your surroundings enough to know Ari's next to you. There's a massive lion next to you, and you are on a ship sailing away.
Okay, I'm going to grab onto Ari's shoulder, lean in really close, and whisper the phrase, "We're all going in the water. The ship might sink." And then I'm going to lay down again.
Ari turns into a swan and flies away.
Beautiful. Oh dear. Okay.
Do you respond, Ari?
I mean, I think Harry looks like me right now, so you know.
Real confused.
So,
Don't ask me. Visions.
The prophecy has been spoken.
unless you're doing anything, or Sapphire, Kess, Zandria, you tip up back.
I just kind of look at Dalefin. Quite finished being you. Weird.
Never finished being weird. But I'm quite finished with whatever the hell just happened. Where am I? Why can I feel the water underneath me? And what the hell just went on?
Kessel just kind of like, can't have a look around, see like, should we move elsewhere? And then just be like, someone will move us if we look like we're in the way, and he'll just like sit down kind of beside Delphin and begin to kind of loosely retell what has happened in the last amount of time.
And as Kess is retelling his stuff, Sapphire sits up into like a proper nice little lotus position, like he's listening, he's quite happy, smiling, listening to the recap.
And whilst Kess is recanting the tales to Dalefin, just as he gets towards the end, Zandria will point at Sapphire and go, "And that one tried to assassinate you in your sleep."
Excuse me, I did not.
Okay, that one was watching you while you were sleeping.
Whichever makes you feel more comfortable.
I mean, that's more accurate. It sounds worse than it is.
Dalefin, as you haven't watched last week, Sapphire looks like a monk of Veil. They're in a similar style of clothing to yourself, no armour, but wears the traditional colourings and robes of the monks. But you know of no lion tabaxi of Veil.
Well, that answered the question I was going to ask as to whether the Vey part had been mentioned, but
You can
Okay.
see they're dressed of Veil.
there'll be a long moment's worth of just sort of taking that in and going, ah. I will
mean,
speak
they
in
also
Veilvish.
They also helped
Oh,
carry
okay.
you out, so I feel like Sapphire's been pretty helpful.
That is
Oh,
true. I did help save your life.
I will speak in Veilvish to see if you recognise it in all Sapphire and just say, thank you very much. Honour of the cherry blossoms be upon you.
You understand the thank you very much, and then the honoured of the cherry blossoms. You don't understand the sentence, but just some of the words like cherry and honoured. but you understand it enough.
Thank you very much, Honor Cherry. You're like, yes.
Sherry.
What's going in? I think
Yeah, he kind
his
of.
head on the way.
You can see like almost like the mathematical calculations appearing around his head as he tries. He's like, that's quite all right. I only really wanted to speak to you. That was the only reason I was in Malran. So didn't want to, let you die. Plus, these people are some of these people are nice. He looks at Xandria.
She looks at you, pipe in hand, just.
You've met Xandria.
She is very protective of you. Either that, or she just really likes picking fights.
Call him.
The mathematical symbols start appearing from my face now. One way weighs higher than the other.
I don't take kindly to people watching, my comrades sleeping.
I should probably explain that. So I kind of explained a little to people before when we were in the tavern, but and then his voice lowers. And I'm seeking more information about echoes and how they work, and I can sense echoes. So I've been kind of tracking them, and when I got to Mauron, because I was just aiming for Ravenholm in general. When I got to Mauron, everything about you just kind of almost screamed out to me, because you're a very big beacon in that regard.
You are very echoey.
Internal screaming and concerned face.
That will bring up that thing that you were doing where there was 100 of you in the one space at the same time. Has that got anything to do with what you've been saying you're going to tell us?
I'm just going to look around the boat. Do they look like there's anyone else from they here?
Give me a perception check.
That is a 12.
No.
Yes, it's got a lot to do with what I was going to be saying later. I'm assuming later has arrived.
I feel like if something's going to incapacitate you to such a degree,
in my defense, that's the first time that has ever happened. So if I knew, you would have known. All right, where do I begin? I'll turn to Ari for this one. As a child, did you ever have an imaginary friend? Or did you ever know anyone who did?
Yeah.
Me too. It's not common for elves. In fact, it's near enough impossible for elves, but I still have one. But it was me. I don't know the full mechanics of it. I don't know the details. I barely had it explained to me myself. But there is somewhat of a temporal distortion around it.
You see, as soon as it gets to that point, Kess is like, the eyes just glaze over.
Off of Kess's glazing. Okay. When you decide what you want to do for the day, you make multiple different choices. Say you're in a fight, you can pick between 3 people to hit. All those 3 things are possible, but eventually you focus on one. So you pick between A, B, and C. If you choose B, A and C still exist, but eventually fade away. I can see A, B, and C sometimes. Now do you see why I want to make this later? Because this is good. The rushed version of this just isn't doing the job.
No, I think you need to start now.
Cass, give me an intelligence save.
Oh fuck, no, not again! Kess is about to lose consciousness, just trying to understand that.
Quantum physics!
My poor dumb baby, he's not built for this.
That
Oh,
was
welcome to
Xandria, but
dimensional
Xandria is
theory.
not showing anything on her face. She's just like, smoking pipe, smoking pipe.
It could be worse. It's only a 9.
Cool. For the next 6 seconds, nothing. You remember here nothing. You're just
In fairness, Luke's not much eyes.
You just hear like that low ringing in your ears, just like somebody has shot
Dial
a
up
gun
mode.
next to your ears.
6
I'm
seconds
literally gonna
pass and you
wave
hear
in front of his
seagulls.
face.
Yeah. Is that the
Just-
hyenas? That Lion King? Just
Delphin, I think you broke my brother.
I'm getting that.
I think I get it. Like, I obviously had to try and get you out of the room and kind of grabbed you and had to drag you, but got a glimpse of, I think, what you were seeing. You were in a glade of cherry blossoms and there was lots of you around.
I saw a few different things. There was one of me on top of a mountain, looking over dramatic. There was one of me with either my or my friend's 5 children for a life that I'm never going to see. And there's one where we were all in the water and I saw Kespion swim by. Just saying.
At this point, you'll just have made like eye contact with like Sandra.
So that's my day to day. Sometimes I don't see them for days, sometimes I can't help but see them all the time. There's one defining point where I saw a lot of them, and that's the point in time I left. Because when you see the literal pits of hell open up and an army of demons come out screaming your name trying to murder you, you don't want your friends around when that happens.
You did explain that one to me.
That gets a look. Is like.
The thing is, some of these things are things that could have happened. Some of these things are things that will never happen. Some could happen tomorrow.
They're possibilities of
Or
futures.
And then as soon as that starts up again, he almost forgets to be slightly miffed off and just like is like.
The way it was explained to me is that as well as seeing all the possibilities, if it's really focused on, there could potentially be a way to go to each of the different places.
I never got that much training. I studied some of the...
Well, I can't train you, but this is like the whole reason I came to Ravenholm is that I know that this was a possibility, and I know that there were things that this could do to help other people in our world. So, yeah, that's why I'm kind of hunting down people that can use these echoes, and you are basically, yeah, like I said, alarms.
I only know of me, and when I spoke to the old geezer about me, he didn't know of any others. Are you saying there's more?
I was just told that if anyone was to know of this kind of magic and how these echo things work, it would be in Ravenholm.
Well, they weren't wrong.
I assumed that meant there were more. I've never encountered this before. And then, as I said, Mauron was just where the ship that I had passage on dropped me off. And you were literally one of the first people I saw. And someone else from Vey. And yeah. Although you're not like traditionally quite... That's not a Vey weapon. He points to your rapier. But it's still, you know, you were noticeably Vey.
Just because I'm a massive show-off, I'll just summon the katana.
300 Goliaths descend upon you. No.
This is from Reality C. I picked it just out of there. I don't have these anymore.
I'm just gonna pat Kess on the head like, it's okay, just turn off. Just turn
There
off.
is a
Not
little
worth
bit
it.
of enjoyment at seeing Kess break, I'm not gonna lie.
It's not worth breaking yourself over, brother.
Basically, the magic that causes that is I'm not so much casting the spell as I'm borrowing it from one of these other realities for a while. It's why it doesn't last.
Well, that was insightful to some of us, and then I just look at Kess and I just kind of.
It's just like,
At least we have a bit more context behind your oddness.
I'd hope that's all the context needs, because I don't. Up until now, I thought that was the end of it. Now I'm told there's potentially more of this, and I'm getting a look at Sapphire with this just curious look.
Oh no, I was hoping to learn from you.
I could teach a bit, but I'm way nowhere near mastering it yet.
Well, the way it was kind of explained to me in the monastery is that when I'm going on this journey, I should seek out people with the echoes and I should follow their path. I think that was more literal than metaphorical. Is I would like to just hang around if that's okay. And he looks around at everyone and he kind of does the cat thing where he lowers his head and his ears flatten a little bit.
huge eyes.
All of you give me a wisdom save.
I don't need to, I'm sold.
But you can hold your own in a fight. We need more of that.
You helped when I asked, and you helped us get back here. Otherwise, we would still be back there trying to not die to a wyvern.
I'll allow it for now.
Oh, you can always keep an eye on me.
Oh,
So Andrea didn't
I
even
will.
try and actually kill you the first time she met you, so you're practically in.
I just want to learn so that I can help people. He smiles.
Do you have any magical talent, or are you, look at the monk part, all fisticuffs?
Oh no, sadly I'm entirely fisticuffs. Apart from the deep-seated rage I can go into.
Sometimes I'm fisticuffs, sometimes I'm angry fisticuffs.
It's all found under that deep-seated rage. Well, if I can teach anything, I will, but...
You're a pretty good teacher.
I'm just happy to kind of follow along, make sure I do my best to keep everyone alive, and who knows, if our paths are meant to go together, then we may discover new things at the same time. We may find new people or find new paths together.
Give me a perception check, Delvin.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it!
17.
No matter how many times, you know, when someone shines a bit of metal, uses like their watch to catch the sun, shine it in someone's face, the amulet around Sapphire's neck constantly, it's like that being done. It's just, you just can't help but look at it or feel that it's trying to get your attention, but they're not. Literally like someone shining the sun at you off a reflective surface, just keeps bugging you, and then it'll go away and you'll keep speaking, and it'll go away, the Sapphire says something, then you say something, it'll come back, etc.
I will react to this in the most subtle way possible for Detect Magic.
Jesus. On this ship.
You are
Give him
blind!
5 minutes. Give him 5 minutes.
Mushroom
You are
cloud.
blind.
Detect magic? Give me a sec. I fucking hate some people.
You literally put a shiny in front of me.
I mean, honestly, the best way to answer would be yes.
I need to know if it does all
Yeah.
this.
Just yes.
Gives the school is the only thing that it's focused on.
Yeah, but possibly there is so much on this boat that is also screaming at the top of its lungs.
I don't
All you
have
can
to
see
look
is
at that.
What is it, 30 feet? Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Oh, cool, so it is blocked by wood and stuff. Okay. Ari's dagger and rapier. Abjuration.
Always.
The fucking 16 sessions. The amulet around Sapphire's neck is... unknown. You don't recognise the school.
Oh.
The
That was
orc, The
Oh.
aura it's giving off is not something you've experienced and therefore cannot convert the aura that's coming back to you.
That look Kess had for 6 seconds is literally how we're right
I think
now.
saying
So
that he only had it for 6 seconds is possibly a bit generous
Sapphire's
on your part.
Naginata. Sapphire's Naginata. Evocation.
pretty. I will drop Detect Magic just to make sure I'll be able to blow my brain out. Interesting. I'll try and distance my vision away from that amulet, and then every so often I'll just keep it back.
It's just...
So-
yeah, go on, carry on.
I was gonna say, so why are we? I caught most of the thing. Did you say dragon when you were explaining this to me?
There are no such things as dragons in Colossus.
You know the sapphire dragon that's definitely not a dragon that was...
Wasn't my fault.
Right.
Nobody's saying it was.
No, I think it's
No,
because
it's-
his name is Sapphire,
Oh, okay.
which
yeah,
is
nothing
oddly coincidental.
It really is.
But yeah, you know the sapphire dragon that supposedly was at the big posh human ball.
Yeah.
It was on in Edinburgh. Well, yeah, well that was definitely a thing. Then it was in the sky above Balram. But how it fit inside a ball and none of us noticed it? Because that thing was huge.
It's because it's not a dragon.
Like it, yeah, it looked like it might have been a druid or something.
Guess. Look, guess. Right. I have to ask, and I'm happy to be the idiot here. When you say it doesn't like it fit in a ball, because it's massive, do you mean an actual ball?
No!
It's not Pokemon!
That's what I was thinking. I was like, never saw
At the
ball,
party
though.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not a dragon, it's a fire type.
As
Like,
in
I'm presuming like the
dancing.
big fancy like to
Dancing!
But you never
Was-
went there, so you. So in my
No,
head, you
but
were
like
you don't know
this
how
thing
big
was
that is.
so big. I doubt it was inside a building because that must have been a fucking big building from how big. Like you were like, it's not huge. It's like
Gargantuan.
Gargantuan.
Yes,
yeah, it's
the ball was
stupid
in a big castle, though.
But this, it was like took up basically, from my understanding, the entire sky above like where we were.
It was indeed massive.
I don't know how that would have fit in, but
Whilst it
maybe
looked like a
druids
dragon,
can be different sizes of dragons.
whilst it
Maybe
looked like a
based on
dragon,
the fact
it's
that
not.
Ari's been to the Blood Bowl before, would he know that it's like held in several different parts of like the castle or whatever?
So the Blood Bowl is always hosted by
It's
the
gravy
House of Tor.
time.
Hey, thank you for the host, Trolls Medden. It's always hosted by the House of Tor. The House of Tor are very, very well known for physical strength. Look at us, we are massive and stronger than you. Look at our overcompensation and the size of our castle where we have our little dance.
Not
So-
that Pokemon.
Normal houses, less so.
Ariel kind of cut in. Yeah, the castle is massive. It probably could have fit in there. It's
Look,
their
Kess
ballroom.
looks almost offended at the idea that there could be an indoor space, a single room within an indoor space big enough to put that in it. He's like, no, tents are the only way to go, guys. What the fuck?
It
Give us our
definitely
tents.
ain't fitting in a tent. You're right there. Cool.
So apart from a not actual dragon, because dragons don't exist in Colossus, it could quite possibly be that Lady Kiku is dead, but we're not entirely sure.
What?
Well, whilst we were fighting some smaller drake-looking creatures, we were right next to the Wandering Leaf.
It's gravy
And
time.
there was a coffin on the desk.
Thank you for the follow, Naples.
There was a coffin on board, and it did kind of look like something you would put a person of notability in. We didn't actually get to see inside, but in other news, Gabriel's in chains.
As fun as that sounds, Lady Akiku's dead.
We don't know for certain. It's just the coffin on the deck looked like something you would put a lady of that stature in.
Can I see the Wandering Leaf from where I'm sat?
You can, yeah.
How far away is it between ships?
Give me a perception check.
Oh, that's the ship I was on.
I just look
14.
at Sapphire like, oh really? Hmm.
Say again, Dover.
14.
14. Best guess, anywhere between 100 and 150 feet.
120.
120.
Is that what you're asking?
We're gonna have to find out, aren't we? I'm gonna stand up, walk to the edge, and I'm gonna try and message Samo.
Message Samo? Okay. Is this message different to sending?
It is different to sending. I don't know if it's...
Which one are you doing?
I don't have sending, I have to use message.
Message is 120 feet.
Is it not line of sight?
Whisper message target. Here's the message. You can cast this message through spell through solid objects if you're familiar with the target.
Yeah, so you don't need
yeah.
to be able to see him.
And also, it doesn't have to follow a straight line and can travel freely around corners or through openings.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not a lot in front of you. About one. So
Point towards it. Samo, this is Dale Finn. Are you there?
can they respond?
Yes.
And can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. You just hear a Dalefin.
It's a cantrip. I'm going to keep this going. Yes, it's me. I've just heard. Is Lady Akiku dead?
Yes.
How?
Assassination.
Do we know who?
There's no answer to that particular sending. Obviously, if you keep going, whatever, but yeah.
I understand your reluctance to say something, but this is just to me, and it will go to maybe my party at most. It will not travel beyond us.
The Dark Elf.
Gabriel.
No answer.
I'm calling shenanigans.
I'm going to just let my hand drop down for a second. Point back again. Why?
We will find out.
Where is she being taken? Home?
Home. You get the feeling Samo doesn't really know how this spell works.
You can reply to this message.
You do notice, Dalefin, that you can see somebody stood at the rails of the Wandering Leaf facing your ship now.
From here, does it look like Samo, or at
No,
least the
you've
same?
no idea on a
Can't
14.
see.
there.
Yeah, fair.
Wave back if it's you, Samo.
What do you want me to do? Can I help?
I don't know.
Find a way of getting in touch with me and let me know if you need me.
Is that the last message you send?
That will be the last message I send unless something is decent on the reply.
Come home.
I'm gonna just basically stand there with a face like thunder for a moment. Then turn around to everyone. Yes, she is.
Gabriel.
I do not reply to that.
Your silence is enough.
I will make a motion for you not to say anything out loud. In fact, screw it, I'll message. Yes. Hey, well, no, I will message. He said a dark elf.
Was that message to me? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. A dark elf, and yet they have Gabriel in chains.
There might be a slight problem. And I'll look over at Harry for this one.
Just out loud, sorry.
Yeah.
I was like,
I understand. Yeah. I'll look at Harry. This is gonna be out loud. One of the members of one of the heads of the clans of Vey was assassinated on Ravenholm shores. I'm just saying.
Pause for war.
Oh, that's why the summary thing. Okay.
Yes, Sapphire, that's why the casket was summary looking.
How? You said you came in yesterday. Was it already on board when?
Oh no, I noticed it when we were like coming back. It was very obviously there when we were fighting to get on the ship.
But it wasn't there when you came on the ship.
No, it wasn't there when I came over.
So that means that Lady Akiku was killed in that short period of time.
The last place we saw her alive was Melbourne. Which means she was definitely on Ravenholm shores when it happened.
It must have happened quite recently then. Because when I went down and spoke to the Wandering Leaf last night, they made no mention of her being dead.
Is this conversation attracting any listeners in?
People are not really acknowledging you. There's a fair amount of people getting on with their jobs. This is a massive ship. Rodina's already told Cass and Zandria they are fully stacked. They've got their crew who are essentially full-timers. The shift work will probably be having a nap down below. There is still Garina at the front of the ship. They have not moved since the ship's been sailing. You sped up a bit about 10 minutes ago, where the wind caught the sails a bit more and gave the rowers a bit of breathing space. The dwarf that spoke to you before has disappeared down below decks. No one's paying you any immediate attention. Harry, give me a perception check.
You're being watched by the captain. Like a hawk. As they try to figure out who the fuck you are.
Like
21.
a falcon.
Like a
21. So 21, yeah?
Yeah.
Exactly what Zandria just said.
It's almost like I could predict this shit. Almost like a light bulb has just gone up in Zandria's head. She just kind of puts her hand out on Dalefinn's arm and just goes, wait a minute. There's something else. When I went down to the Wandering Leaf to speak to them and see how it was they had left Evendorf, considering they were under house arrest, and then asked them further questions, they mentioned that they were unaware that Samuel was here. And First Mate Eto once again lied to me. Something doesn't add up. It's not the first time she's tried to lie to me. She's not very good at it. But there's definitely something else going on with that ship. I have a feeling that the captain and the first mate might be behind it.
It's gravy time.
Hey, D.
Yep.
The thought occurs to me. There is nothing in any of the samurai-esque creeds of Vey that is dishonourable to lie to someone, is there?
Lying is not lying in truth is as debatable as among any culture. There's no outright you are bad or evil if you've lied.
Thinking about what was messaged back to me,
Yep.
may I make an insight check to see if Samo was lying to me?
Go for it. And thank you for the subscription, Corum at Strap. For the Twitchy Prime.
13.
We have rerolls.
You have 3 rerolls.
If I have permission.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. We need
Give me a
that
second.
insight.
19 down to 18.
Samo was not lying.
Sam was a good egg.
Samo may be a good egg, but his duty to his mistress would override that. And one of the simplest ways to evade any form of capture, or more specifically somebody trying to hunt you down,
Is
is
to
to be
withhold
dead.
information.
Is to be dead. I like to withhold information.
Information.
To be
I was
dead.
going down.
It's
AJ's
Dalton
going
and
down.
Zandria.
It would not be impossible for her to fake a death so Berryman is not following.
That is true.
She gets home scot-free with the tear.
Arcana check, Delphin.
That is a 15, so it's a 20.
Necromancers can do it. Necromancers can feign death.
That tracks.
You're in the right place for it.
Uh-huh.
What did you say the coffin looked like? Because didn't you say it was?
It was
I didn't
druid
get a good look at
crafted.
it.
Yeah.
It was as stereotypical summer druid as you could possibly get.
They probably have lots of nice little gaps in it.
Wouldn't make a difference if I'm correct. I don't know much about the Feigned Death spell, but it would slow the breathing enough to not be a problem. You literally would register as dead to anyone paying attention.
I don't know a huge amount about that kind of thing, but yeah, it would really be a good way of escaping
What's
the
the
Roman,
tear?
especially.
Not a clue. Apparently it's a gem?
Tear of Elmbeleth
Elmon
Is it-
Beleth.
is apparently something that belonged to the Vale Dynasty but was taken from them by Ravenholm some years ago.
Andy knows what I'm going to ask. Andy, can I ask whether Ari would know anything about the history of what that would be? You know, from Saturday's past, I find it.
Mel!
You little meta.
I think, in fairness to Unmeta Mel, I think we tried to run all those when we first heard about
Yeah,
it.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, I'm pretty sure you tried.
Yeah, we did.
and
I
failed.
think we did.
But if you want more lore of
No, if you want more lore,
you should
go and
check
watch
out.
last Pathfinder stream, because there's one.
check
Oh,
out
so this
the
is-
streams on Saturday.
For those watching our Pathfinder and D&D sessions, campaigns are held in the same world.
Whilst this debating is going on, just under my breath, I go, should have followed him into that shop.
Yeah,
Am I
Sandria.
close enough to Zandria to hear that?
Give me a perception check. DC 15.
Yeah, I hear that.
You hear?
That was a 17 before I checked my plus, so.
Yeah, you hear it.
Followed who into what shop?
Oh, Samo, whilst you were all inside getting the supplies from that one shop, he wandered into a shop and then wandered back out. I think it was a jewelry shop?
You just, the look you get is just like, you didn't think that was important to tell us.
Not at the time, no.
You knew that,
I'm sorry, we were a little bit preoccupied with trying to stop an entire nation invading, you know.
yeah,
one
no,
of
I
our
just thought you might
supporters.
have mentioned it in passing.
Slipped my mind.
Ah,
The thing that is really interesting to take from this is why it was so shocking to First Mate Eto that Samuel was here. It's almost like she didn't expect him to be following close by.
Well, when the two of them left Ebendorf, I suppose if they had left on the ship, it would seem strange for them to have come here of all places. Possibly they left of their own accord?
And there's still the question of how did the ship escape port in Ebendorf?
I don't know anything about boats.
There is some heavy lying going on with that ship. The question is do we want to pursue it to try and find out more, or do we stay here and try and deal with the situation that is already on hand?
Samo said I should come home. I'm, for once, actually starting to get the impression that might not be a bad idea, but there are more pressing matters ahead of us. So I will follow, and I will turn to Ari for a lead on this one.
Delphin perception check.
16.
Front of the ship, you see yourself put a hand on Garina's shoulder, and Garina acknowledges it, and then you disappear.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say you push her into the sea.
Garina acknowledged it as in, like, an echo of her did, or she just did?
As in a friend comforted somebody.
The echo acknowledged it.
No, Garina acknowledged the echo.
Yeah, there's a
Garina,
pattern.
who is there,
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
acknowledge the echo, or...
Garina, who is there, who you can all see
Okay.
in the front of the ship. Only Delphin can obviously see his echoes.
Yeah.
So the echo put a hand on real Garina,
And real Garina
comforting her,
acknowledged
and real... Cool.
and then didn't react when he disappeared. Delphin carried on staring out to sea.
Well...
You know that thing I can see that we talked about that broke everyone?
the weird space...
There's
Yes.
another one just put a hand on that, on the... Is it that the captain?
Soul
Garina
Forge. No.
Garina is a representative of the House of the Forged.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, brain. On that person's shoulder, and they could feel it.
Well,
And that's not
interesting.
normal.
Nope.
Sapphire stands up and just starts walking in her direction.
Zandria just puts a hand on him, pulls him back like, whoa,
Strength check,
whoa.
because you are not 6'10".
Do you want me to
Kess
make an
is going to
opposing?
get up because he was going to go and
I'll
thank
let you know, so
them
I'll let you
anyway.
know. If Zandria rolls high enough, you contest it. If not, then
Dirty 20.
dirty 20. Then yeah.
Oh, 20. Yeah, I got the 20 as well.
Damn you.
Cool.
Meow.
He's not going directly towards her. He's just trying to get closer to her, and he's holding his amulet. He wants to
So-
see if she's giving off any.
Zandria, Sapphire's not exactly dragging you along the deck, but is moving enough that you might need help to stop them rather than do it yourself.
Just grabbing out and we're like, where are you going? You don't just walk towards people, like...
Kess,
I'm
while
just-
she is saying that, is literally walking alongside Sapphire. It's just like...
I thought if I got, I'm not walking up to her. I thought if I just, casually strolled along the deck, I'd see if my amulet was giving off any vibes about her.
Oh, I was going up to... And then I'll kind of look back to Delphin, just like, wait, is that not what we were... Is that not what we were...
Your amulet can pick these things up.
He just kind of, you see him, he kind of went, oh shit. Yeah, it's how I found you.
They're gonna go top magic science, and I ain't have none of that junk, so I'm just gonna keep on walking.
So Kess
to
Kess
Garina.
will get to Garina while Sapphire, Delphin, and Zandria pause for a moment. And Ari, what are you doing?
Harry's just gonna leave him to it, and
I'm not here for
go
arcane
talk
physics.
to the captain.
Cool, so you go talk to the captain. Sapphire, Dale, Finn, Zandria, while holding Sapphire, we're going to have a conversation about amulets, Neckos. Caspian, you're going to go speak to the Soul Forge at the front of the ship called Garena.
Yeah.
We'll see how that all happens in part 2 after the break. So
Perfect timing.
It's 9:30, and we always have a break at 9:30 to quickly go to the toilet and grab a drink and probably
And
a
ice
few extra
cream.
drinks because it's ridiculous.
Mm.
Thank you very much. There's 30 of you in chat. That is ridiculous. Thank you very much. Please stick around. We're only going to be gone about 10 minutes. You'll see at the break a poster banner about a 48-hour gaming challenge we're doing at the end of this month for 3 charities: Mind for mental health, Rainbow Trust for poorly kids, and Mermaids for pride and such. If you go on Google and Google any of those 3 charities, you get a lot of information about what they do, why they're doing it, and what they're doing with their donations and the money they raise and stuff like this. Please check them out. Check out the links. You'll see them popping up. Message me on social media if you want more information. We'll be right back. So please stick around and we'll be right back. 10 minutes. Go kids, go.
Go.
Boom.
What's that cat? He
Right,
likes to turn
kids, we're
computers
back,
off.
I think. We should be back. Hello, people of the Tinterweb. Right, part 2. Let's do this. Let's do this. Welcome to the channel. If you have just arrived, I need to get all my stuff because he's not talking to everyone. So, welcome back. Before the break, you are all on the Black Wing ship, sailing away to the west, out the estuary to the open seas of Ravenholm. Still, the crew and such are still determining whether to head north into the waters of the House of the Red Lady, or south into the waters of the House of Tor before they hit the House of the Forged and their destination, etc. Whilst that was happening, the captain may or may not have recognised, or at least is having a bit of a deja vu moment with Harry. The soul-forged Garina at the front of the ship has acknowledged one of Dalefin's echoes, shadows, memories, whatever they are. Zandria, Sapphire and Delphin are about to speak about the amulet of Sapphire and echoes. Kesvion is going to speak to Garina, Harry's going to speak to the captain. So, who shall we do first? Kesvion!
Yeah.
You head towards the front of the ship, and you see Garina with that incredibly well-polished oaken-coloured wood, then metal plates all around the face, the shoulders, and the neck, and they have a very well-fitted outfit on, very akin to similar to what like Harry's wearing and such, but it's not loose and baggy and frilly.
Yeah.
With a silver grey sash hanging from their belt with the symbol of an anvil at the bottom of it. And they don't turn to face you, they carry on staring out in the ship's direction. It's quite a strange feeling when you get to the top, to the front of the ship, because it feels really high, and then every now and then goes a bit higher. But when you turn around to look at the rest of them, you're kind of on the same level, but looking out towards the sea, you can't help but feel you're like at the peak.
Ah, yeah. That's not upsetting for Luke's stomach in the slightest.
Don't go method on me, man.
Kess gets seasick, well, that would be a twist.
I can know.
No, let's not retcon that. That would be a problem. He'll just kind of like move up to like reasonably like telegraphing that he's coming up, because obviously he'll notice that Garina doesn't seem to have not acknowledged his approach, so he's just going to make sure that like he's not going to startle anyone, and we'll kind of like lean like on sort of balustrade that and kind of look out as well, and then basically say thank you for calling to us. We would have been in a much different situation right now without your help.
Likewise, thank you. Without your help, Ravenholm would be in a different situation.
We'll see. And he almost gives kind of like a little kind of
It's gravy time.
We'll see how things play out. I hope people listened, but
They will or they won't. Hope is not necessary.
But thank you for your stance. It's appreciated.
We are crafters, not destroyers. The House of the Forged are here to create and better, not to remove and destroy. Thank you for the follow. Let's do it, mid-job. Guess.
If only more of your countrymen took a similar stance, we might not be in the place we currently are. But I wanted you to know that we were thankful for your part.
You are welcome. How goes everybody?
as well as can be expected for a very eventful week and an even more eventful few days. It's interesting times.
Do you enjoy the sea? Garina has not once looked at you.
No.
Their vision has been out always.
There is a calmness to water that I appreciate.
I can understand that. I used to enjoy the sea.
Have you sailed much in the past?
The past, yes. The present, less so. The future, unlikely to do so. Other than this current voyage.
Kess doesn't know shit about fuck all, so he'll just continue to be like, yeah, that seems... takes things at face value for the most part. I'm like, yeah, fair enough, Ski. And we'll continue to kind of enjoy the view, because I think this is only the second time he's been on a big ship, so we'll probably be enjoying seeing the sea from kind of this angle.
Cool. Give me a perception check to tell me what you got.
Do the watery looking one now. Method. No, we won't, because we'll yeet that over the side. So for perception, that is 3. So that would be 22.
22. Right, remember that. And we'll
Yep.
come back to it.
I will write that down. 'Cause I'm not remembering.
Right, Harry. Luckily, you've only split the party on a boat. You carry on. You walk up to the captain. She is on the wheel, and then hands it over to a Goliath, who's wearing a bandana, very little clothing up top, just in a pair of baggy trousers. Very, like, no weapons, no nothing on this Goliath, just comfort. And the captain heads towards you. Harry, isn't it?
Yes.
And she tips her tricon. Your friends gave me your name. I hope that's not a problem. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just noticed you were watching me down there, and I was a bit confused. But thank you for letting us on your ship. And
Have I seen you? Do I know you?
does he recognise her at all?
Give me a perception check. I'm getting surrounded by midges.
Oh, that's not great. Probably not, because it's a 10.
10. No. Just no. Have you put your sash away? Your sash still away, yeah? Yeah, cool.
Because he had it away and then he went running and came back,
Yep.
so I presume it's still in his bag. He's just like, I'm sorry, I don't recognise you. I mean, I'm from Ravenholm, so possibly somewhere on shore.
Yeah, I don't know, there's just something about you. Like, for some reason I didn't think you were this young. Do you look a lot like your father or uncle or?
I'm told I look like a lot like my grandfather.
I don't know. What's his name? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to tell me. It's your business.
I actually know his name. We're okay. I'm like, no, I know his name. Without having to look, yay. It kind of is unusually honest. And like, have you come across the Rycrofts of the House of Eagles?
Yeah. They hold the wall. Like the House of the Eagles are the most prestigious house in Ravenholm. fact, I'm pretty sure we're only alive because of that house. You're a House of the Eagles. You hang about. You're not telling me Rycroft? No. You're related to the first eagle.
You could say that.
Well, I'm honoured, and she does a bit of a long bow. Takes
Oh,
the
no,
tricon
no,
off
don't
and
do any of
everything.
that. I haven't been home for a long time. Like,
What's that got
That's
to do with
probably-
anything?
it's got to do with everything. Not a good time, but yeah, I come from there originally, but I haven't been home for a long time.
Well, you come from good stock at least.
He just kind of breathes real deep, and it's just like,
Are you alright, Harry?
yeah, I'm fine.
Just need a paper bag or an inhaler, don't mind me.
Do you want a drink? And she offers a hip flask.
He will take the hit.
It's a very, very nice whiskey.
He has a few, like, he wants to chug the whole thing, but he has a few sips and hands it back and is like, thank you, that's appreciated.
It's up close that you notice Rodina is younger than you. And yet captain to the royal ship of the House of Falcons.
He'll kind of, he doesn't recognise her directly, but he's gonna like, so, I mean, you've got a very nice ship here, it's, you know, I'm gonna guess, are you from the House of Falcons, or?
I am, and she pats the green sash at her hip.
I should have seen
Yep.
But hey, that's a player error, not an area error. Yeah, it kind of was just like, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much for letting us come aboard, and come with you. I mean, I don't know where we're heading to, but wherever it is going to be safer than...
Well, we're still trying to work that bit out. We've got a couple of days on this estuary before we get out to the seas, but we're still a bit on and ahhing. A couple of mine are working on the sent word to the Orcam Whale across there, the dwarves. Boulderback's a good captain. I've many an ale with him. The Wandering Leaf I've got no experience with, but we've got a message sent across to them as well, so we're just waiting on a reply from both ships. But yes, it's not looking good. She sort of does a bit of a haha smile on her face.
Like, I don't know, obviously you were speaking to my companions earlier, but I mean, we have had dealings with both ships, at least the Orcam Whale I've been on personally, and Boulderback is indeed a great guy.
He's got a load of humans on with his crew at the minute.
That's unusual. They were,
Yeah. Apparently there were some fisher folk. He's took a load of them on. Not loads, but they're coming on.
Okay.
Couple of young ones are on there. Train them up to be good sailors. But nice diversity.
Yeah, he had quite a few.
And she sort of
dwarves on there
gestures to the many Goliaths and dwarfs and humans on the ship. You sure you're alright, Harry? You look like you're miles away.
Yeah, I'm fine. I needed to come and I just was curious, really, why I was so curious to you. But that's cool.
Sorry, I'm not great at subtlety. I thought I knew you. I was trying to work it out. I was blissfully unaware that you could actually see me. But yeah, now I do. You do look like your grandfather. Only at certain angles though. But you can keep the flask. I've got a few more. Have a drink. You took kind of a big swig, so you carry on and you can finish that. I'm going to take over Brunner here if you don't mind, and steer us out the way of that rock Bruno's taking us towards. And you just hear Bruno, this large Goliath shout, but I can see it, Captain. Of course you can, Bruno. Of course you can. Anyway, Harry, have a nice trip. Help yourself to anything. Like we've got supplies and stuff downstairs. I mean, it's a good month or 2, maybe. Nah, not 2. We'll get there in less than 2 months back to the city. So we've plenty of stuff.
Sounds great, thank you. And he kind of makes his leave as quickly as he can.
Cool. You have a little hit flash from Captain Rodina. For a split second, as you're just walking away, you see Bruno very reluctant to let go of the wheel, and Rodina just sort of like shoved them aside. There's a good 1.5 foot difference between them, but they give way to the captain, and Rodina's now steering the ship. Sapphire Delphin, Zandria. 3, 2, 1, go. You're talking about the amulet.
That can detect echoes.
Yeah. It was given to me when I was sent off on my quest. Is it that
Sent
unusual?
you on that quest.
Oh, my sensei.
Do they have a name?
Rin? Does that? I don't expect it to mean anything to many people. Sensei Rin.
I'm assuming that doesn't mean anything to me at all. Like. Can I have a look at it? You will get it back. I'm not going to just take it. This is stupid. You're bigger than me, and this is a small boat.
He looks very. It's very reluctant, but he does take it off over his neck and put it in your hand. His hand lingers on the chain a little bit longer than it probably should.
As you take the chain, Delphin, you realise just how big this necklace chain is, as it's come over the size of the tabaxi's mane and braided mane over. There's essentially a lasso for a small oxen.
Can I tell anything from just general arcana about it? What kind of age
General
it
arcana?
is?
Give me an arcana check.
That is a 22.
So the amulet is very simple in design. There's no detailed glyph work or symbology around it. You get that it is clearly imbued with detection magic. Again, that school, you're not daft. It detects magics linked to the school you have no knowledge of. Very akin to a paladin sensing evil things and demonic things, etc. But
So it's more fine in nature than.
could be. I mean, detect magic is arcane in nature. Detect fiend is divine in nature. But detect whatever this school is could be anything. Could be druidic for all you know. But there's nothing. It's just new.
Now you know how Cass feels.
Every day.
I'll pass the amulet back. And, well, can you feel anything? I'll surreptitiously point at who you're heading for.
Oh, so Garina.
Yeah.
So you.
Garina's who I'm concentrating on and trying to.
Cool. So from Garina, you don't get the echo ping. You don't get that feeling that obviously it goes mental just because of Delphin's proximity. What you do get from Garina is history, like old. Like an echo and a memory are so close on the path that one could easily be mistaken for another unless you were trained in it. And you can't work out if she's giving you an echo reading or just a memory that's got caught up in your detection spell. Is the best way I can explain it.
Oh, she's weird.
Take a look over, go back a little bit.
Like, she's not like you, but there's a little something. I can't tell if she's just really, really in tune with her memories, or if she's got a little bit of it about her. She's not like you, though. Like, it was difficult for me to even sense anything over you.
Right. Okay. Alright then. Still,
Not massively helpful, I know, but yes, she's odd.
first time seeing that person, first time using that item there, then I wasn't expecting you to give me a book's worth of answers, so I agree on that. But it's good to know that's what that does. It's intriguing. I've never seen its kind before. Most of my magic doesn't play well with it, from what I can tell.
Oh, okay. So, like, it's... I didn't really know anything about these echoes before. I didn't know they existed, but it's... Like, I think it's almost like a desperation kind of thing. We're looking to learn as much as we can because it's something that at least the sensei knew a bit about.
Desperation thing? What, as in you're desperate to learn this information for a reason, or?
Just there's potentially as a way to cure a sickness.
What sickness? Sorry if I'm bombing you with these things, but you're giving me a lot to work with.
I don't want to go too into it here, and he kind of looks around at all of the people around and just goes, I'm happy to talk about it in more depth later, but some of the Tabaxi and Vey are very sick. They're being corrupted.
It's not something you know on the personal experience, Delphine, but there are stories and rumours that the Tabaxi are, especially one type of the two Tabaxi and Vey, are afflicted by a curse.
Okay. Alright then. A conversation for later. But for the now, I'll not push it any further. I can't speak for my point Alexandria.
I just kind of go, what?
It's fine. Don't worry.
All that time, Xandria was actually watching Harry.
Okay.
Fly two birds.
Glad I was looking at the sea.
Our trio's down to two.
True love, Cass.
So, you're on the ship. Unless there's anything impending you wish to do right now, we're going to cut scene. So, over the next couple of nights.
No! I want to know what my
my
perception check
was.
was.
All right, I'll get to that actually. Let me sort out the back music.
To be fair, we had 3 different directions we were going.
Oh yeah.
It's because I minimised my note, so I was like, oh, that's gone.
Oh, well.
So as you're stood at the front and you guys are having your conversations, and Harry, you've had your conversation, you notice that the shocking weather that hounds you on the road, there is an element of it that starts to brew above you on the open waters, whereas the skies start to go grey and a storm begins to gather. Whereas out on the road, it feels like it's straight above you, like just if you reached out, you could touch the bloody thing. This feels a bit more natural and wide, and you can kind of see it forming before you because of the now vastness of the sky. Rain starts to fall quite heavily. There is a very, very small rumbling in the distance, and the wind picks up a lot. You immediately see the folk go into safety mode as the crew start rocking around, tying stuff down. Ropes are getting brought up from below decks, and other things are getting tied down. A couple of the sails get taken up. Main one's still out for now, but they're gonna. You can hear them talking about getting ready to bring it down. What you stood at the front with Garina, during your perception, you're just staring out and chilling, so you're both just having a stare out to sea moment, yeah?
Yeah.
But every now and then, Garina's, when she spoke to you, was very, not blunt, but just straightforward.
Matter of fact. Yeah.
But every now and then you hear, Mother, can I go out to play? You can, dear, but don't be long. And then there's silence. And these are very quiet words just coming from Garina. But there's no movement of the jaw or anything like this. This metallic jaw, just glowing eyes staring out to sea. Then you hear, he's got a sword, in a more masculine voice. What do you plan to do against the sword? Don't worry, I can take people on with a sword. It's easy, I made the sword. Just be careful when you go out there. I will. Just look after the wee one. All will be well. Then there's a clanging of steel. This happens over a 20-25 minute period.
Yeah.
And they're very brief. And then the final one you hear is, don't worry, Garina. All will be alright. You know what's going to happen next. I do. It needs to be quickly though. I need to return as quick as I can. We will deal with it, Garina, don't worry. These are very, very soft words, similar to when Xandria whispered under her breath. But your keen elven ears pick up those whispers and different scenarios in Garina's moments stood out. Garina doesn't even acknowledge that you may or may not have heard. And that is what your perception gets you.
Cool.
Unless you act on it, I will carry on.
Nope.
Cool.
I would like to interject as
Go
well.
for it.
Before the day's out, because we're in a new area, I'm going to detect fiend.
Capiche. There is a fiend below decks. Not an aura, not a maybe. There is an actual fiend below decks, or at least that's what your Naginata's telling you.
I would like to go below decks, please, if no one is stopping me from doing so.
Well, to be fair, so what you see is Sapphire take out their Naginata, hold it close to them, and in that very holy-esque stance, forehead to blade, concentrate. There is a silver orbing to Sapphire's eyes, and then it fades. And then Sapphire starts heading below decks. Or will head towards the doorways where the stairs go down.
And lean into Xandria. Did you just see that?
Mm-hmm.
Ari,
Should
you
we
just
follow
noticed.
him?
You just noticed Sapphire walking across the deck.
You know, I just head off.
Follow.
So you carry on. You follow Sapphire. Ari, what are you doing? You see Ari and you see Delphine and Xandria
I'll
following Sapphire.
also follow them as well, because I don't trust Andrea around Sapphire, so...
Legit.
He's a big boy.
Cass, what are you doing? It's entirely up to you if you look over your shoulder and see them. I mean, no one's rushing, there's no screaming for help, people are just walking towards the stairs to go below deck.
No, he's just enjoying being on a boat.
Cool.
There's nothing that's anyone's kind of said, hey, Cass.
As
He's
you,
like, oh, we'll be here for ages.
as you head downstairs, Sapphire, these lot are right on you. Are any of you talking, or are you just following Sapphire?
I don't want to interrupt the person who can clearly detect a bunch of things. Gonna let him do his job.
You go below decks. There are 2 decks below the main one. The ship is deep, and you go down the first set of stairs and you notice that there's a lot of bunk rooms and the eating area. You can smell it. It seems it's non-stop. They've got constant changing of staff, crew, to make sure everything's going all right on this huge ship. The next one you go down and you lead into the cargo hold, and in the cargo hold there are stacks of barrels and sacks and crates. There's a few weapon racks where they've been tied to the wall, they're built against the wall and the weapons have been tied and wrapped, and you can see lots of people sorting them out. The fiend that pinged, you see a clearly looking sailor type. They are in the same attire as everybody else. Their skin is of a pearl sheen to it. if it was really bright in here, it might be see-through. But because of the lantern lit down here, it gives that dark opaqueness to the pearl colouring of the skin. The horns are very, like cornrows. They're very thin to the head, and there's about 5 of them that just go back over the head, very similar to cornrows, but they're very thin pearl horns. These are solid pearl horns going over the back. They're quite large. They've got that V shape to them that you'd expect for a more athletic, stronger person, even in comparison to a lot of the sailors. They seem, the sailors are hench just by their manual labour, but this particular humanoid seems to do more than just manual labour to have that sort of physique. They are not in any armour or anything like this, they're just in the trousers and loose shirt as they're lifting. But they do have on their back it's like your Naginata blade, so it's got that curving edge to it, but there's one on one end and one on the other end, as if you were to have a double-bladed Naginata, and it's sat on their back, and it's pretty like flush to their back, so it moves with them and it's not in their way, and they're just helping lift things about. They look, just from as they turn, they do have a masculine edge to them. No facial hair, just a pearl face. Other than the cornrow horns, they're just a very large, fiend-looking person, or at least they're pinging fiend.
And kind of similarly to how things were with Dalethin when I first landed, I'm not going to approach. I'm just going to kind of take note. So, for people following, he just kind of looks up, notices this person, his eyes narrow slightly, and then he takes a few steps back, makes sure he's out of sight, and turns back around. And then it's like this is the first time he really spots that he's been followed, and he goes, "Oh, hello."
A hell of a walk it took us on.
Sorry, and he's like whispering now. Sorry, I'm very used to working on my own. I forget there are other people.
What are you going to look for?
Where I am from, we are overrun by demonic creatures, fiendish
Serious
people,
mode.
and it's part of my day-to-day to make sure that I know where people are that are of this type, and make sure that, they're not scary.
And you detected a demon, a devil here.
A fiend, yes. He's round the corner. He's a very shiny looking, I don't know, maybe a tiefling? I don't know what he is. He has horns, and he's very pale. He looks like he's part of the crew, so I was just backing off. I just knew that he was there, and I wanted to know who he was.
I will almost nervously just peek round at the guy. What would it be to be able to identify what he is racially?
Considering your clan, you could go for Arcana or History, your choice.
Definitely Arcana. That is a 17... 22.
22. So, tieflings are known. They're a known entity. The only explanation folks have of tieflings is they are from a fiendish bloodline. But there is something reminiscent about the horns, his colouring, that they are pearl and not horned. Like they're not like ram horned or the horns you're used to seeing on the creatures you train to fight in your clan are very different. This person's horns look to be made of pearl, and there is an element. They definitely look like a fiendish flavoured creature. and could well be that. But there's no. They definitely are a tiefling.
They're just vibing.
Definitely are a tiefling. There is a fiendish nature about them, but the oddity of them having pure, or it appears to be just horns made of pearl, is slightly throwing you off.
What's Vay's policy on tieflings? Just as a side note on that.
This is only knowledge to yourself, and is known but not known amongst the clans. It's one of those secrets that nobody wishes to know the true answer of, because they are fully aware that if it's real it helps, but they would also have to act on it. There are tieflings within your clan, because to defeat thy enemy is to know thy enemy, etc.
So it's not as terrifying as I was going to go.
No, not tieflings. And you are 100% convinced this is not a fully fledged demon of the pits that's crawled out to help out a few sailors lift some boxes.
Summoning
It's a
spells
pit
do
fiend.
things.
It's a bear law.
I'll just give him a little look over, turn back to South. I just nod, pat him on the shoulder.
The weapon
Don't-
is a veer. The double-edged.
I'm going to turn back round again.
The double-sided, the scimitar on both ends is of veer, but rare as a rocking horse. You've only ever seen one person use it, and if you go to your background, Mr.
The Swordsmaster by any chance, the undefeated one.
No, not the undefeated one.
Oh, okay.
One made of pearl.
Your rival, Ayako.
Does that
She
weapon
was
look like
the
Yakko's?
only one. Ayako was the only one that ever wielded such a weapon. It wasn't customised or anything, so you've no idea if it's hers. But your competitor throughout your young life was the only one you'd ever seen use a double-bladed scimitar or naginata.
I'm going to literally do it like a double take as well, so I'll turn around, pat him and just go, hang on. Right. Again, I'll just pat Sapphire. Good eyes. Keep an eye on him.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it would be good to make a scene or anything, but I thought it would be good to know who it is and to know who to keep eyes on.
Well, they're definitely, I'll say for the others, they're definitely not a fiend, they are just a tiefling. But at the same time, there's a lot of things from Vay showing up recently, and no offense, Sapphire, that really puts me on edge.
He like when you say there's lots of things from Vay, he beams and then it's like
I'll again pat Sapphire. You I can live with. And I'll walk back upstairs.
thanks, I think, and
Harry's
follows
Andrea.
him.
Alright, cool. Harry's Andrea. What are you doing?
I'm gonna quick peek at this dude and just be like, it's just a tiefling, isn't it?
Yeah, same.
So Andrea, give me a history check.
That's intelligence. We don't have intelligence.
Well,
we
I'm
don't
not here to pick your
brain.
best stat, am I?
Oh, that's fine. It's a 19. Like a straight 19.
Nice.
Cool. So, tieflings back in the lands of Surut are more akin to the world of dreams and nightmares than they are fiends.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty confident that if Sapphire used his skills, the tieflings of Surut would not register as fiend.
Yeah.
But they do have a similarity in look, is what you can remember. Harry, you've heard of tieflings? Not met any. But if no one else is reacting and running for the hills, then you've no reason to.
I feel like he'd met quite a few different folk through he's kind of
Your
running
travels,
a mercenary company
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, it's just like whatever, as long as they're not causing problems.
So,
Oh well.
do you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You go back on deck. So over the next couple of days, yeah, we're good. Right, cool. Over the next couple of days, storm brews. The ship goes through a fair amount of stormy weather, but not a storm. There's a lot of preparation going on. There's complaints of it slowing the journey down. There's also remarks, especially from Romerick and Captain Radina, of it might be a blessing in disguise that they're slowed down because it's got more time to work out a plan. The first day passes, you sleep, you all long rest. Praised! You all long rest. You are given bunks. There's plenty of spare bunks on the ship because, as Radina mentioned, they're not fully stacked out. You kind of notice that again, no one like every now and then you'll get the second glance, but no one really gets involved. They've got stuff to do. Upon the second day out, you've noticed that the Wandering Leaf and Oaken Whale are still thereabouts in the same lanes that yourselves are going. It gets to the evening of the second day. You've eaten, you've drunk, you've chilled out with one another, and you are approached over you're all eating below decks in the in the cook hall area. Where is my see if this works. Oh, that's not as good as I wanted it to be. 2 seconds. Where is my goddamn tavern? Bam, 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 bam. Cool. So you're sat in the cookhouse area. Hopefully everyone can hear this at home. People are chinwagging away. There is a fire going. Oh aye, there's a fire going in a small hearth, but there doesn't seem to be any smoke. Right. Clearly magical whiz was, but there is a fire going. People are just chilling out and chinwagging, and the captain, Rodina, approaches where you five are sat, just sits down, pumps their butt. In between Ari and Zandria, if there's space, sits down, and so we've sorry, am I intruding? Just looks at you all.
Not at all.
We've had word back from both. The Oaken Whale have said they will do essentially what we want them to do. Captain Boulderback said he'll come south with us if we feel we need that sort of protection, which Lord Romerick is very keen to accept. The Wandering Leaf, they've got some personal issues. Apparently somebody's passed of quite import on their side, and they need to return home for some sort of courtly ceremony or something. Someone is in trouble by the sounds of it. But they're going to head north and head back. They're at a better where they can keep going north and can avoid the waters, but they'll be at sea a long time. They'll have to go up past. Well, they'll have to go around Viconia. It's a long way for them to go. So, so I just wanted to pass that on. If there's anything else you want us to ask them, we'll be in touch with Boulderback's lot to let them know that it's a go, and that they can come with us or meet up with us as we leave the estuary. And we've offered the Wandering Leaf any help that they wish. There's a lot of talk about they feel that actions happened in the house of the Red Lady's province, not Ravenholm, which is good to hear for Ravenholm, but probably not so good for the impending so lots of diploming will be needed, I think, by some of the Ravenholm houses. So yes, unless you have anything else, I'm going to go back over there, sit with my crew and have a drink.
Well, thank you for the update.
And Ari, I got you one of these, and she gives you a hip flask that says Rycroft on it, engraved. It's slightly bigger than the one you took off her. You took such a large gulp last time. This one will hold more. Can I have mine back, please?
Oh, consider
You get like 2 raised eyebrows, just like.
I once met your grandfather, and he was very nice to me. So it's yeah. Well, tell him I said hi, and then she walks off.
Xandru just kind of like when
The 2 eyebrows then go to.
when they say tell him I say hi, Xandru just kind of goes and looks at Harry, just gauging Harry's reaction.
Captain's left.
D&D, come for the fun, get kicked in the fields.
D&D Taverns and Tragedies, I think you'll find is what we're actually playing.
Just doing my job.
Taverns and Tragedy. Wow.
Cool. So you got a lovely little hip flask with Rycroft engraved on it.
That's cute. And some emotional scarring. All in a night.
2 for 2, Harry. 2 for 2. So, you have an evening. You've had a nearly. You're coming up to the second evening that you'll be on the ship. You were told earlier that you'll probably hit open waters come tomorrow afternoon, and as Rodina's just said, you will start heading south on your trip. So yes. Do you wish to do anything? Do you wish to talk to any of the crew, etc., or do you wish to fast forward?
Later on in the evening, Xandria is going to pull Ari to one side and just kind of like hand on the shoulder and just let's have a talk.
Goes over like a naughty school child.
What have I done now?
If I see like Ari looking like he's about to be told off, generally I'm just gonna be like, you're not in trouble. You don't have to look so upset at the idea of being berated. And I lead Harry to somewhere relatively quiet, or with less people anyway.
Okay, do you go on deck, or do you remain? The weather is a lot calmer today. There's no actual storm hit, and it has settled-ish towards the evening, so the deck will be safe.
Yeah, deck then. Some nice, fresh air.
Cool, you both go out on deck. Doreena's still at the front. But everyone else is just almost skeletal crew, just keeping an eye on stuff. You see Bruna, the Goliath, steering the ship as Rodina is downstairs eating.
I kind of lead Ari to one of the sides of the ship and just kind of like lean on the lean on the side.
You can swim.
Yeah, and you get lean on the side of the ship and take a deep breath and just kind of stare out at the sea for a second. I know it's not been long since you received the word of your grandfather's passing, and I'm not entirely sure what human customs are in celebrating a life that has passed. And I know there's not a lot we can do right now with us being out at sea. Do you want to return to the wall? If anything, just to say a final goodbye?
There's a lot of stuff going on, and I want to. I'm also aware that I'm pretty sure Delton would kind of want the same thing for Lady Akiku. And so I don't know what's best. There was obviously talk about going north, which would be the way around to get back to the wall. Or the quicker way. Not by much, but the quicker way. I don't know. I haven't really had a chance to process anything yet, and I couldn't tell her. I just couldn't.
For my people, death is a celebrated thing in a way, because when somebody dies, their life force is returned to the lands and it's used to further life. But there are times when we can't hold that celebration. For example, if we're out on an expedition, so we have a smaller, more personal and meaningful celebration, a rite of passage to the afterlife. And I go into my pocket and I pull out just a very small piece of paper. Would you allow me to do this for you?
I would really appreciate it.
And then I take out a pen and I just pass it to Ari. Write your grandfather's name.
He writes Hagen Sebastian Wagner.
Xandria will take back the pen and stuff the pen away. And then she holds out the piece of paper in her hands. And I will just cast Firebolt on the paper. Just a little spark. Just enough to set it up. And I allow it to turn into dust. I turn it to ash and allow it to blow off into the breeze under the sea. Warriors are fallen, but they return to the land. May the spirits, may the seasons, may Dream herself take this fallen warrior, return him to the land, so that he may give life, so that he may live on. And one day, may he return.
As Xandria does this and her hand reaches out and lets the ash fall, what Xandria doesn't notice, but you do, Ari, is there is a glow to her skin, and her eyes to you have a golden orb to them. They lose the iris, you can't see the iris. Xandria is still calm as she says her words, but what begins in front of both of you, Xandria sees this as well, is as the ash falls away from her hands, it becomes a golden dust, almost like pollen, and starts sprinkling out throughout. And you notice that if you was to look up at the star sky, that is how bright those dots are of pollen. They are like little stars floating out towards the sea. But then they start forming a shape, and you see a wingspan of about 12 to 15 feet golden eagle made from this dust, this golden glittery dust, as it just soars out across the sea, and then poof, just becomes dust again, settles on the water, and you hear a long loud cry of an eagle.
And after I hear that cry of the eagle, I just nod my head respectfully and say, "Safe journey, brave warrior. May you find peace, and may your life be used to further the life of others."
When she raises her head from a nod, Ari, her eyes are no longer golden, and as in the orbs, and her skin is no longer glowing. Xandria, you know nothing about the glowing in the eyes.
Yep.
Kind of takes her hands and is just like, thank you so much.
It's the least I could do.
As you have that moment, Garina, you notice now, is looking down towards you both, and you both receive the magic that is similar to Dael'Thin. Both of you get separate messages at different times. To Xandria, you hear what does she say? Well skilled. And to Ari, she says, "I know the eagle will be forever." It's so matter of factly. It's like you should have just not said anything. Down in the taverny bit, because everywhere's got a tavern. You have people around you. chin-wagging away, and you can hear them talking of what's happening tomorrow. There's rumour-mongering of, oh my god, did you see a dragon? You know, oh, by the gods, did you see a dragon? There is. Wyverns were everywhere. What's Ulrich going to do? Some people are like, oh, it's all Ulrich. Some people are kicking off about the house, so they think the sailors are very opinionated over mealtime, as they give no fecks, as there is no law on the ship but their own. There's a few fanfolk of Ulrich and such after seeing him attack a gargantuan dragon. I mean, they go on about it being absolutely single-handedly upon a Pegasus and blah blah blah. They ignore the fact that 300 Eldritch blasts went up into the air. You know, stuff like this. People speak of the dragon using magic to disappear. Some people say that the two humanoid things in the sky were dragon forms in human form. Others say that they were sacrifices that went up there with Ulrich and they gave their lives and stuff. Like, it's all a mishmash of sailor tales being created and woven over a few ales and a good old fish and chips. But yeah, and the evening will carry on. Ari and Xandria are up on deck for a short time. During this short time, you'll have somebody come and sit with you. It is Lord Romerick. And that's on a different tab.
Rude.
Yeah.
So rude.
It is Lord Romerick and a human, very very young looking human. Long dark hair, very much the darker colours of Ravenholm in their hair. Fresh-faced. They seem to have some sort of furred creature that's running around the shoulders, like a ferret, squirrel, hamster, rat, mouse. Like, you can't quite, like, it's just nipping around and then
Hermione
disappears.
kind of.
Yeah. And they sit, a young lad, and Romerick sits with you. A few of the sailors obviously move away to not have their conversations, and they're one of the stewards of their country. And they give you a bit of space. Good evening all, this is Oliver. He is one of the ships, and he looks at Oliver. I'm a druid, hello. I help the ship with many things, fishing mainly, and healing and such. And I'm quite good at changing into things, diving in the water. Not been doing it too long, but I'm getting good at it. But Romerick, why have you brought me over here, my lord? Do you want to leave? Flustered as. No, I'll stay.
No, I am a child and I'm confused.
I'll stay, my lord. I'll stay. That you will. Enjoy the company. So, I'm assuming the captain has informed you of what Boulderback has said and the Wandering Leaf. Looks at Daelfin and Sapphire, not recognising. Like, slowly now, it's taken a day and a half to realise Sapphire's a new addition to when like wasn't part of the talks before. Just looks, but Sapphire's attire and Daelfin's attire. Are you wishing to go to the Wandering Leaf? I have told Rodina we can slow the ship and communicate with the Wandering Leaf if you wish to get on their ship.
I have a service here with this group. If this group wish to go accompany me that way, yes. If they have other business, I will tend to that first.
And yourself? Turns to Sapphire.
I spent enough time on that ship already. Unless other people want to go over there, I'm fine. I like learning new things, and yeah, this is interesting. The people on here are very interesting.
Well, the offer is still there, and Romerick looks around. Yes, interesting. The crew of the Blackwing are very interesting. Loyal to a T, but yes, they do hold. Yes, we shall say interesting.
Who selects who joins the crew?
That would be Rodina, the captain.
Very good to know, thank you.
So, And Boulderback, do you wish to sail with us or do you wish to sail with Boulderback? He said that you had sailed with him on the way up, although he did describe your 5th member as a black bird, not a tabaxi. Very quiet.
Definitely no wings.
I can see that, half looking up at you, even sat down.
It's been quite a long day, my lord. You'll have to forgive our general quietness. I'll just shoot a glance to the others.
It's the others is Kess.
I'll shoot a glance at Kess.
I'm sorry, you were expecting to get a conversation. It's just the look that you get. Like,
the look was sort of, yeah.
Oh shit! It's the returning look.
Oh shit! You make me want to do combo.
Well, we are sailing south with Captain Boulderback, but Rodina, the captain, did say that you may be interested in being dropped off near a forest, which I can tell you is a lot of Ravenholm.
Ideally, we would like to not find ourselves in the House of Tor again anytime soon. I'm sure you can understand why.
I can always understand why people do not wish to be within the House of Tor, at least their province. We will hit the House of the Forged province straight after the province of Tor, but it does mean staying with us while we sail through their waters.
Forgive me, my lord, how long, as most of our party is currently not present, I don't know where the others have gone, how long would we have this window of opportunity to make a decision?
Well, by the late tomorrow afternoon we will have hit open water and then we will be heading south. If we want to add a bit of time on, Rodina has suggested we keep going west until we are free of our territory and then head south. But those are waters unknown to me, and Rodina is 50-50 of how safe they will be, which is not a great... I do not know. Whereas I suggested we stay within our lands, and if the House of Tor do anything, then there will be civil war without diplomacy. As we have already sent message via our arcane folk to the houses of Tor and my viceroy that we are returning down the coast. So it's just how far Ulrich and his friends, the House of Tor and the House of Lilies, take their wanting of taking the Copper Forest.
I understand. Can we... If it
It's
is all
gravy
right,
time.
By first light, we will let you know our decision. And if okay to... We may end up on any of the ships or giving you a direction from there.
You have a day or two, I would say. But know that come tomorrow afternoon we'll be on open water and beginning our journey south.
I understand. We'll do our best not to inconvenience the travelling of this fine ship. But I feel we need our full party here to properly ascertain what it is we're doing. If we make a decision now without them, we will be possibly paying for it later.
Not a problem. Oliver, I'm just I'll stay on this ship, my lord. Well chosen. Come. And he leaves the table, and Oliver sort of looks at you lot and follows Lord Romerick. And you can see Lord Romerick seems to be taking this young druid Oliver to other tables and just introducing him to the crew. And you can hear some of them like, we know him. Okay, my lord.
Was that weird for you guys too?
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that too because it seemed really uncomfortable, and the little one was like kind of cutely embarrassed, but still embarrassed.
Sapphire, Kess, give me an insight check whilst Delphin was talking to Romerick.
Ooh.
Oh, that's one of my good ones. 18.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I can do that one.
18 and
19.
cool. So you both see Romerick is being mischievous.
Oh, you be shy back.
Mischievous how? Is he doing it just because he knows?
He's enjoying his. It's almost like he's got a short window of freedom before all hell breaks loose, and he's using it to be a little mischievous shitbag.
Are they getting kind of like the flavor of it? As in, like he knows this. Basically, deckhand can't really say anything to him, so he's just.
He's a steward of Ravenholm. He's
just been a wee bit of a wind-up merchant, just
exactly
for like.
He's just
He's
winding
the
people
one
up.
guy who is nervous.
What you notice is he's winding the entire crew up because the whole. But we know him, but we can't say anything because he's one of the. So they're just like, yes, and he is loving it. Like seeing your granddad smile. Except you, Harry.
Jesus, what?
Jeez! Eddie!
Well, that caught me off
Even
guard. Shit.
Even you, after you said that, was like,
quick.
oh, actually, that was kind of mean.
Fucking shots fired. Shit.
Whew, caught me off guard. Fucking hell. Oh,
One session. We'll have a session where we don't bully Mel.
fucking hell.
One session I want to cry.
Not while you're in Ravenholm. So.
That's what we're heading off.
Well, the sun shines on Ravenholm, Ari shall never
Jesus.
know true happiness.
Sun never shines on Ravenholm.
That was the sun. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't. That was quicker than I expected. Right, so. So yeah, Lord Romerick is enjoying himself.
Making me giggle.
Fucking hell. I can't breathe. So Sapphire, Delphic, guess. As you're having your little conversation, Ari and Zandria return. I'm assuming, or do you stay out on deck?
I mean, Zandria's going to stay on deck for as long as Ari needs, like, a little bit of just, just composure, just decompress.
Cool. You two are still on deck. You three.
I suppose it's good that he can still find good spirit at the moment. Like, so he's kind of like unsure.
Do you suppose it's good? I can't tell because of the facial features you're pulling.
It's almost reassuring. It's not uncommon to find a certain peevishness in people back home. It's almost a little welcome to see it so far from there.
Right.
It seems like he needs it, and I think it's a good thing.
Well, he's going to be having some horrible decisions and a lot of issues coming soon, so get your fun while you can, I guess. Speaking of decisions, what is the plan?
It makes sense to go south, but things are moving so quickly now. I honestly couldn't say if it was best to alight with the House of the Forged or if it was best to stay on. But I think it's the correct direction to go in. Sadly, we can't afford to not stay in home right now, as much as it pains me to say.
What is south? What is that you might be heading towards?
So if you have your map, you are coming out of the estuary near Salsden. All that water down as it comes further south is the House of the Tor. Once you get past Ebendorf, you hit the House of the Forged, and then the House of the Falcons is actually in that bay and then a little bit of the land. So where you are right now, if you got out and headed directly south, you'd hit the province of the city of the province of the House of the Falcons, which is where Romric wants to go. But getting off and walking there, he believes is incredibly dangerous. So he's
That's a big forest.
Yeah, so he's gonna sail around in complete safety, he believes.
I will follow where you guys wish to. I'm already a little off on going home at the best of times, but I do feel that something's not quite right on that ship. And I feel it's probably going to have some impact here.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's if things were not so close to coming to a head, then I would say it might be worth pursuing. But I think the necessity to remain here outweighs the curiosity.
I agree. I agree entirely.
And if, heavens forbids, that the people do take umbrage with what's happened by a citizen of Ravenholm in the House of the Red Lady, if it divides their forces further from us, then
I only
enemy of my enemy is.
Yeah, I have but one concern. Did Zandria tell you that I bumped into my clan leader here?
Did she?
Nope.
At this point, ears
Oh,
count.
no, wait, no, I did tell Kess. I literally have it wrote down that I told Kess everything.
You
Okay.
did. You told him about Ari as well.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the same time.
I told him about Ari, and I told him about Dalefin. I told him everything that I knew about Dalefin. Kess
Yeah.
knows. If Zandria knows, Kess knows.
Yeah.
So yes.
I know that something happens.
My clan leader is incredibly angry to the point in time that she is effectively projecting herself in hunt of me. And
Oh,
I'm
is that why
lonely-
Zandria thought I was going to kill you?
Pretty much, I would imagine. And I'm just a lowly trainee who left. Imagine how she's going to react when she realizes her sister is dead.
Oh. You're from Clan Akunan. Oh. So when you say she's projecting herself, you mean Lady Akiko?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna point at Sapphire, and that reaction should speak volumes.
What did you do?
I left. That's it.
Do people never travel?
I'm
I'm
when
sorry, I don't understand.
When I saw what I saw, I was in training to basically. Planakuma has a directive. We hunt demons. We kill devils and demons. And they're reasonably quite good at it. For me just to leave, I didn't tell anybody because, well, someone would have stopped me or talked me out of it or done half a dozen other things that seem to have happened a lot recently. So I just up and left, and they took me as a deserter. I am technically, in their eyes, I am clanless, even though I don't agree with that. But on a scale of things, that is still completely minor to her sister died. And Gabriel, if he is the one who did it, and I will keep this incredibly low so no one else is hearing, was last seen operating actually in the House of Terror as a honoured guest, someone who had most amounts of contacts, and will sell all of them down the river to save his skin.
So many things just don't add up.
I know. And that's what's confusing me over this. Last I saw Gabriel, he was, I can safely say he was dimension dooring or teleporting away, can't I? I saw him do it.
Yeah.
He was teleporting to handle something involving...
Oh, when you last saw him leave the tavern?
Yes.
No, he walked out.
Did he walk out?
He stormed out, yeah. When you went out, he'd gone.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw, when you insight checked him, you saw intent in his eyes.
He had a mission. He was doing something, and this was after I explained what Lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still.
I thought he was going to go recover whatever it is they'd taken. I didn't expect that, and I still don't.
I don't trust him as far as he could throw me, quite frankly, but it doesn't. When we were fighting, he was so protective of that coffin. That's not someone who put their love in there.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, he really was. Like, we were battling off monsters, like giant wyverns and things, and they were kicking our asses, and he was still, yeah, locked to that. Huh.
I don't know how things work in Fae. I barely know how things work here. But it seems like for your clan leader to chase you down, that's an awfully strange job for a leader to chase down a deserter.
Yes. There should be agents. I should be hunted down and killed. I've broken so many levels of honor in their eyes that for a clan lead to personally come looking, I've been trying to work out why since.
Is it something to do with your... And he just kind of like gestures at like all of you and then like loosely hit Sapphire, just like...
I don't know. But again, the point is not that she came looking for me. The point is that she came looking for me, and I'm a low thing on the list. If that is not some sort of con, she is going to come wrathfully for the person who dealt with her sister and anyone involved in that.
Which is likely to be this Gabriel guy and potentially people in the lands of Tor.
And in the province of the Red Lady where it happened.
Oh, of course.
And anyone who wasn't looking after her. When people die, you're not exactly reasonable about your responses.
It's
a concern, but I don't know whether she herself was already in Ravenholm or just projecting really far.
There's a lot at stake and only so much that we can actually do anything about. We can only control the possibilities that we can control. And I think for now, whatever the elves do is a little bit out of our reach.
Understood. Just know that if she carries on looking for me, we're going to get the really angry version.
Understood.
Then I'll follow you wherever you lead. Just be ready to duck.
I grew up with the Andrea. I've got good at that.
Spends most of his life in a permanent squat.
I'm going to point at the little snowflake parts of my outfit and go, think of Zandria except the complete horrifying opposite. I'm going to throw 2 thumbs up and we go get a drink.
Valid.
So, as you drink and enjoy your evening meals, Zandria and Ari have a moment on the deck. The night is calm, the clouds are split and show the stars. There is a very, very large, bright moon. This actually is at its fullest, and come the next day, or night even, will start to wane. And we will call the session there. Well played, kids. It was a very, very talky session. You spent a couple of days on a ship. There were some beautiful moments from Zandria and Ari. Well played. Some really cool bits and bobs from Delphin. Well done for getting that out. Sapphire doing stuff. Found a demon. So it was really cool. Thank you very much. We rocked out 31. Still 33 watching. So thank you very much for that. It's, incredible. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please tune in next Tuesday, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. BST, or however you find us Brits. Yes, every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, you can see us play the Fables Among Titans campaign. And it'll be session 17 next week. So you're 4 months in, kids. 4
Wow,
months.
4 months. Well, not for Sean.
It seems to have gone by so quickly.
Just like
Blink of an eye.
So, thank you to our sponsors, Ashana, who I believe, if she's on now, we will probably
She's still
raid.
there.
She's still there, so we shall raid Ashana. If you're all good for that, please stick around, as I've just done that wrong. Na. There we go. Thank you very much to Ruffworx Creative for sponsoring the show. Go check them out on Facebook. Incredible woodworking and leatherworking. Go see all of our lovely sponsors. Find us on social media, Heavyweight Gaming. We're on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Thank you very much, players. I've had a great night watching you lot roleplay. Thank you very much. Chat, it's been fantastic. Loads of you watching, loads of you chatting. It's cool. It's a brilliant little community that's been building up since March. Essentially the zombie apocalypse. So hopefully we'll keep building it, and you can come along on our stories with us. We stream most nights, so if you like tabletop, keep an eye out. I didn't get to say thank you to for following to McMadcat or to Sammy222. So thank you both if you're still around for the follow. Right, let's go, kids. It is too hot to be hanging around.
It's gravy time.
Hey, we just got a last follow from Jagjune to Jagjune. Thank you very much for the follow. We're now going to raid. So goodbye, players.
Bye,
Bye, players.